Hey, what's up, guys? This is Los from the Big Retro Show. A big thank you to everybody who joined me today. Today, I am talking about retro game collecting. I have noticed a lot of videos out there, a lot of YouTubers out there making videos saying that they are done collecting retro games. And to them, I say, no, you're not. Now, why am I saying that they are not done collecting retro games, even though they are saying that they will stop collecting retro games? And that is because none of us can pass up a good deal. And good deals are still out there to be had. Anybody who searches on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, I know there's only like two of you out there who search on Craigslist, but everybody who searches for video games actively, uh, you know, it's going to find a deal sooner or later because there are still people out there who are not privy to how much the games are worth. And so I think it's kind of funny that everybody in the retro gaming community is saying that they're going to stop collecting retro video games, because in reality is if a fat deal came to them, something that is just too good to pass up, they are going to pick it up. Make no mistake about it. If somebody were to see a Super Nintendo with 50 games on Facebook Marketplace for $10, do you think that that person who is saying that they're going to stop collecting retro video games is not going to jump on that? Of course not. They would be a fool not to do that. Now, it's a new year, and I really don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, but this year I actually have a goal. I'm not going to call it a resolution because resolutions I find to be hollow, but I have a goal, and the goal is to play more and collect less. But I've already broken this rule. Well, yes and no. I have broken the rule because I have purchased something, and that's going to be my next video. But it's something that I didn't need. I just wanted to have it. I wanted to have it in my collection. I do collect video games, and I do find joy in finding deals, but oh gosh, I'm going to give you guys some reasons why to stop collecting retro video games. The first reason is the price. The price is out of control for retro video games. No matter where you go, be it a flea market or a thrift store or even just like on Facebook Marketplace, everybody has a cell phone with eBay loaded up, ready to give you what the game is worth on eBay. Everybody knows about price charting now. So even when you walk into a mom and pop thrift store, you will see the games priced accordingly to what they're worth. Back in the day, you could walk into any thrift store with $20 and walk out with like 10 games. It was that easy. But it's not like that anymore because everybody is privy to it. So the second reason why you should stop collecting retro video games is that there is no point to collecting something when it's just going to sit on the wall and gather dust. Now, I am guilty of this too because I collect video games, but I don't play any of them. I just want to put them on my shelves, and I've come to realize that that is kind of it's against going what video games are good for, and that is to play them. It's kind of cool walking into a room where there are tons of games everywhere. People it's a quite a sight to see, and people love seeing that sight. But the reality is that these games are meant to be played, and they're not being played. They're just gathering dust. Now, I have more games than I will ever need in my lifetime. I don't think I will get to play 10% of those games because there's just so many of them. And a lot of them have time requirements, time commitments. Now, I don't have time to play a game on par with like, any RPGs, any JRPGs, any Final Fantasies from back in the day, or not Breath of the Wild, but Breath of Fire. I don't have the time to play all of the games that I own. There's just no way I have the time to do that. And so, why am I collecting retro games still? Why am I doing it? It's just because I can't pass up a deal, and I'm sure that you guys are with me there. But I have to admit, since the pandemic hit and since everybody is isolating and everything is locking down and it's scary out there, I have been collecting less and less, and I think that that has helped me because I haven't made a purchase in quite a while until I made one over the weekend. But it's a good deal, and you guys will see it in the next video. Now, I mentioned earlier that there are still deals to be had in the community, and that's true, but for the most part, there are no more deals. Anytime you go to a flea market, anytime you try to go to a thrift store or a pawn shop or mom and pop shop, they know. They are all know. And I think that what is especially troubling to me is that, places like a thrift store, they're designed for people with lower incomes to be able to buy the necessary products that are required on a low budget, for cheap. And one could argue that video games aren't a necessary item. It's not like you're going in there to buy a video game to wear because you don't have any video games to wear, clothing or shoes or whatever they're selling at the thrift store. No, these are not luxury items, but there are families out there who are struggling to make ends meet. And how do you entertain children who don't have the money even just to wear decent clothes? You can't just walk into a thrift store and buy a game for $2 anymore. They're charging you 10, 15, 20 bucks per game. And I think that just goes against what the spirit of a thrift store is. It's wrong. I think it's wrong. I think that they need to price accordingly. Now, I think that all of us as retro game hunters and collectors and all the YouTubers who make these videos showing off their pickups, I think that we have a lot to do with it because we're the ones that made these thrift stores start realizing that they're selling these games for way, way less than what they are worth. And so, I am owning up to my responsibility for this phenomenon. And yet another reason why you should stop collecting retro video games is because it's now easier to play these games from the past. Every service, be it the Xbox Live or the Nintendo eShop, has retro games on that service, and you can pick up the games digitally. So if you have a hankering to play any of the old school retro games, you can just download them and play them directly on your device. There's no need for you to go out hunting for them. There's no need for you guys to haggle over the prices because the prices are relatively low for any retro game on the eShop or on the PlayStation Store and on Xbox. It's a win-win situation for consumers when they buy these products digitally. Now, I know there's a lot of you out there that love to have the physical copy, and I for the most part I like to have the physical copy too, but services like the eShop and Xbox Live, Xbox Gold, PS Now, they give you free games all the time. And so I don't mind playing the free games at all. And I don't mind paying small fees for the retro games as well. I would rather, I'm a gamer first. So if I have a real hankering to play these games and I want to play them really bad, then I'll just pick them up digitally and be done with it. There's no need for me to go out, drive to the store or to the flea market or, to meet somebody on Facebook Marketplace, try to iron out a price and then come back wondering, why did I pick this game up? It's only going to sit on the shelf. And this brings me to my next point, and that is the emulation is fantastic these days. You can pick up a Raspberry Pi, a Mister, or any other old Chinese knockoff emulation machine and just go to town with emulators. Yes, and I know that emulators aren't the same thing. It's not authentic, and is some input lag on some of the games, right? But a lot of the games that you can play on emulators, they run really well. They run flawlessly. So it's a question of you making an investment on a good emulation rig. And for emulation, I mostly use just my PC and my Raspberry Pi to accomplish that emulation. And I also use, of course, the mini systems, the Nintendo Mini and the Sega Mini, as well as the PlayStation Mini. I use those systems too to emulate those systems. And, for the most part, that satisfies my need to collect physical games. I think that the emulation has come a long way, and it's now more easier than ever to play these retro games without having to pick up the physical copy. And for my final point, and that is that I prefer to play modern games. And I know, this is the big retro show, but you can't diss on modern gaming. Modern gaming is the bomb, guys. Games like, and I know I talk about this game a lot because I love this game, and it's Red Dead Redemption 2. There's nothing in gaming that comes close to the experience that I feel when I play Red Dead Redemption 2. I've grew up playing Mario Brothers 2 and 3, Legend of Zelda, all of the games on the old school Nintendo, on the Genesis, on the Super Nintendo, N64, you name it. I grew up playing video games, and there has never been a more exciting time in history to be a modern gamer, especially if you own one of the new consoles. Now, even though the consoles have been underwhelming, nothing beats powering up an Xbox and Xbox Live and just being able to play this entire library of games. Now, if I would have had this when I was a kid back in the day, oh my goodness, I would have gone crazy with this. But now that I have it now as an adult, there's like no need for me to go hunting when I can just play some modern games, download a game from Xbox Game Pass or from the PlayStation Now service and just start playing on these beautiful graphics, awesome gameplay, and it's come a long way, and I appreciate modern gaming now. I consider myself more of a modern gamer and a retro collector because I'm all about the digital when it comes to modern games. And I have a feeling that a lot of you guys are probably in the same camp that I am in. I'm really interested to know that. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my uploads. Drop a comment and give a like to the Big Retro Show. And until the next one, I will see you. Peace.